Hello, dear children. This is Anar Jangid, and again I am with you through this online platform. First of all, I welcome you all, students of class 10th, on my YouTube channel and on this platform. Today, I have come before you with a beautiful poem in class 10th English Language and Literature course. Today, we will take up the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. So before we just move on, dear children, I just would like to tell you something about the poet. The poet of this poem is George Leslie Norris, and he was born in the year 1921 and he died in the year 2006. And he was a prize winning Wales poet. Wales is a part of United Kingdom and short story writer. He is considered as most important Welsh writers of the post-war period, and his literary works have won many prizes. His famous works are Finding Gold, The Loudwinder, Phoenix Living Poet Series, Ransoms, etc. Now, dear children, you know it is always an enjoyable thing to go through the poems, to read the poems, and this poem is written on a very important theme. So, I just would like to give you the introduction of the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. The poem is about a tiger. The chief character in this poem is a tiger. You know, a tiger is an inhabitant of the green world, of the forest, that is very beautiful and is walking in his little cage. But unfortunately, here the tiger in our poem is walking in his little cage in a zoo. He is having beautiful strips on his skin and his velvet like soft paws, but he is not happy and is quite angry in the cage. The poet says that the tiger may try to hide behind the long grass, but here he is not able to do so. Actually, nothing is happening naturally. He is in a strong cage and so he is helpless. He cannot do anything. He cannot show his power to the visitors. Poet is describing the tiger as being powerless and agonized in the cage. Cage life has totally changed his personality. It is not the natural personality of the tiger, dear children. Thus, the intention of the poet is to say that the animal, famous for its fearlessness and freedom, is confined. It is put into a cage and said only due to human beings. So, this is the important point raised. This is the theme of our poem, that the poet just wants to say that it is cruel to keep wild animals in small enclosures in the zoo, away from their natural habitat. A tiger is always happy in the forest, that is the natural habitat of a tiger. So it is really inhuman, it is cruel, it is never good to keep the wild animals in the cages or in the zoos. Nowadays, you see many organizations protecting the rights of wild animals and other animals. Nowadays, they are working in this field. That is why nowadays the animals are not kept in circus or in the zoos as we had seen it in our childhood. They feel angry, helpless, and unhappy, and remember their life and environment in the forest. So, dear children, uh, here the poet is actually comparing a tiger that is in a cage and a tiger that is in a forest in the natural habitat. Now, you see, with these visuals, we will read out the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. He stalks in his vivid strips, the few steps of his cage, On pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rays. So this is a stanza of 4 lines. You see the rhyming words, and with the help of the rhyming words we will get the rhyming scheme. When we see the rhyming scheme, dear children, we see the last word of each line in a poem, and we just try to establish the relationship in connection with the sound. So you see, strips, cage, quiet, rage. So you see, the word cage and rage are rhyming. So if we want to write the rhyming scheme, we will write like this. Strips, we will give A, cage, new sound, so B, then quiet, again new sound, C, and raise, the same sound, we will write B. So he, he here is the tiger. So the tiger is actually personified here. This is a literary device. So he stalks in his vivid strips. He is actually following. He is just walking the few steps of his cage. He is not free. Here in the first stanza, the tiger is in the zoo. He is not able to move freely, so he is only able to walk just for a few steps. And you can see the beautiful color of his skin, the strips on his body, on pads of velvet quiet. So this is a metaphor. Here the literary device is a metaphor. Velvet, the pads of the paws of the tiger are compared with velvet. They are so soft. So the tiger by nature is not a very quiet animal. It is a very ferocious animal. It is a very violent one. It is very aggressive. But since it is put into the cage, so it is very quiet, and quietly it is walking in his quiet rays. Although rays here means anger, the tiger is angry, but he is helpless. He is not able to show his anger. That is why very quietly the tiger is walking in the cage. Now you see the second stanza. Here comparison. Suppose the same tiger is in the forest, then how does it move? This is actually described a beautiful imagery here used by the poet. He should be lurking in shadow. The poet says that if the same tiger is in the forest, then it would be lurking. Lurking here means to be hidden is to wait for your prey. When the tiger wants to uh, kill any prey, any other animal, then it just hide itself in long grass and waits for the prey to come. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, and very silently and secretly it just moves to its prey near the water hole, and it waits for the other animals for the hunting near the water hole, near the pond or a lake or a river, because so many other animals come there to drink water where plump deer pass. The tiger knows plump means very strong, very healthy. Healthy deer, they just come there to drink water or they pass by that way. So the tiger in the forest is very powerful, it is very ferocious, and it is very fast also, fast and furious. You see here one more literary device I just would like to introduce, that is alliteration. In alliteration actually the consonant sound is repeated. So here you see plum, pass. The sound p is repeated, so we will say this is alliteration. And if you see the rhyming scheme, same, shadow, grass, hole, pass. So a, b, c, b, the fourth line is rhyming with the second line. Now we are in the third stanza, dear children, and in this stanza actually the poet again is describing a scene as if the tiger is in the forest. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claw, terrorizing the village. If the same tiger is in the forest, then how will it behave? It would be snarling. Snarling means a warning sound made by the animal. It should be actually roaring around the houses at the jungles is the houses which are at the boundary of the jungle. There it will roar very loudly, and it would show bearing his white fangs. Fangs here means the teeth. It would show the white teeth and his claws, and both are the symbols that the tiger is very powerful. It is very magnificent, and it looks very gracious also, bearing his white fangs, his claw, terrorizing the village. And this way, the tiger is trying to terrorize the villagers, the village people, by his roaring and by his warning sounds. So, here also the tiger in the forest is being described by the poet. Now again he is moving to the tiger in the zoo, that is in the cage. But here he is locked in a concrete cell. Concrete cell means the cell or the cage which is made up of concrete using bricks, cement, sand and water. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Now again he is helpless here. So many visitors come into the zoo, but the tiger is very quiet, unlike its natural temperament or attitude. So it often ignores the visitors who come to see the tiger in the zoo. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Now the night of the night is described over here. The poet is describing that the tiger which is in the zoo, it is not able to see the brilliant stars outside. If the same tiger was in the forest, it could enjoy the beauty of the nature. It could see the stars and the moon. But here he hears the last voice at night. During the daytime, so many visitors come, so there is a lot of hustle and bustle, lot of noises. So the last noise, or he hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and it is the voice of the patrolling cars, the cars of the police or the army, which move here and there to guard us, to protect us, to vigil us. So he hears the sound of the patrolling cars and stares with his brilliant eyes. Then he stares with his shining eyes at the brilliant stars. He is not able to see the stars, but he is looking at the lights of these vehicles, these cars in the city or where the zoo is situated. So this is the beautiful poem, dear children, A Tiger in the Zoo. I hope you enjoyed, you will like it. And at last, again I request you to continuously watch my lessons. I am sure you will be benefited, and I again pray to God to keep you safe. You also stay at your home, stay safe. This is all for today. Thank you and have a good day.